The jury in Atlanta is near deciding the fate of Andrea Sneiderman, but they never heard from Sneiderman herself. Listen to what she told the judge this afternoon.
Have you made a decision on whether or not you want to exercise your right to testify?
I have, Your Honor.
And do you want to exercise your right to testify?
No, sir.
Do you need any additional time to consult with any of your 4 lawyers?
No, I do not.
At this point in time, do you want to exercise your right to testify?
No, I do not.
All right, that's fine. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk about that decision in a moment. But Sneiderman's boss, Hemi Newman, was convicted in the murder of her husband, Rusty. And Georgia prosecutors wanted to prove that Sneiderman was the mastermind behind that murder, but they dropped the most serious charges against her. She still faces 13 charges, including perjury, hindering an investigation, and lying to police. Many of those carrying a few years in prison. And if collective, if you put them all together, if she was convicted of them all, we're talking about tens of years in prison. A lot at stake here. I want to bring in criminal defense attorney, HLN legal contributor Joey Jackson. All right, so Joey, what do you think about her not taking the stand in a case that's based on whether or not she lied and made false statements?
See, the fear always is, Ryan, you put the defendant on the stand and then they're subjected to cross-examination. And then if you could get them under that cross-examination, potentially to lie again, it becomes problematic. Now, she didn't testify, but of course we know when she did testify, and that was in the previous trial of Hemi Newman, and certainly the prosecutors played that testimony so that the jury would indeed hear from her.
So then, closing arguments today, folks, heated. The state calling Andrea Sneiderman a habitual liar, the defense blaming local police for botching the investigation. Take a look.
He's my friend. I can't imagine he could do this, but the bottom line is, that's for you to decide. Did they follow through? Did they make any attempt to follow through whatsoever? And because they didn't, it's her fault that it took them a while to connect the dots. But the bottom line is, and I would submit, the reason we're here is pure and simple. Andrea Sneiderman is on trial today because the bottom line is, when it came down to it, she didn't initially believe that Hemi Newman did it.
She was asked in front of a jury in this courtroom about her relationship, and she lied. That's what this case is about. Period. Not about any of those other things. That's what this case is about. It's about her actions. It's about her deceit. It's about her words. It's about her lies. It's about her guilt, not Dunway's.
A lot of passion in that courtroom, Joey.
Yeah, that's all about advocacy. And, you know, it's important because that's the last opportunity, Ryan, as you know, to make those arguments to that jury and to press upon them what your theory of the case is. And speaking of theories, what are the theories here? Of course, if you're the defense, she's a victim. Her husband, of course, is dead. Her former boss was just this manipulator. Or is she the manipulator? And if you're the prosecutor, that's absolutely your theory. She's a manipulator, and as you heard, a liar.
Yeah, and you got to press on that point. At least the state's trying to, of the lies, because that's what they're highlighting here. That's what this case is all about. Now, folks, you got to just hear this one last piece of evidence from the defense's closing argument today. Attorney Thomas Clegg attacked one of this trial's most memorable witnesses. This was the former very, very good friend of Andrea Sneiderman. And listen to what he says about Sneiderman's former best friend, Shayna Citron.
Shayna's trying out for a TV show, isn't she? The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. You see her outfit the second day? The red dress? You saw the video of her interview with Andy Thompson way back in January of 2010. Glasses, dark clothes, nothing flamboyant, nothing dramatic. But then she wanders into court, she looks at the camera and says, "Showtime!" Andrea checked out of her marriage. I lay on the sofa and looked at the ceiling. Oh, she was wailing. Honest to goodness, listen to that crap.
Talk about advocacy, huh, Ryan?
What did we just see? All right, Joey, does this resonate with the jury, or is this over the top? I mean, I know you're not in the courtroom, but I mean, you know,
Right, you
this
have
is
to
a
keep
trial.
You have to keep it somewhat respectful,
Uh-huh.
and, you know. But from the defense's perspective, he's got to attack this witness. Why? Because she's the one, her former best friend, who says she checked out of her marriage. Her eyes were dark when she spoke of her husband, and so therefore, to the extent that the friend buries you, you have to attack the credibility. To your question, was this the best way? Well, we're going to see and hear from the jury as to whether they believed it was.
Well,
soon.
I could see it paints her like she's just interested in the fame and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to the truth, which to them is their client is innocent. We'll have to see how this plays out.
And whose version of the truth is the truth.
That's right. It's always critical. See, spoken like a true defense attorney. Joey Jackson, always good to see you.
Pleasure, Ryan.